I've been doing streams and rivers for about 20 years now. I've been on Duck River multiple times, and this is about probably the 5th time I've gone from stem to stern on the river.
So for the Region 2 stream program, we're in charge of looking at the elk, the duck, the harpeth, the red, all these different streams that we've got in Middle Tennessee. We're wrapping up our summer study on the Duck River. We've been everywhere from Mullins Mill upstream of Shelbyville towards the dam, all the way down to Hurricane Mills, where it's getting close to Kentucky Lake and the big water.
You know, the Duck River, you're looking at, 284 miles long from beginning to end, roughly. It's the longest river contained in a single state. It runs all the way from the Highland Rim all the way to Kentucky Lake, and it's so biodiverse, it is unbelievable. We've got more species in 1 square foot than some of the rivers or countries in Europe.
So we're taking this pretty big boat, it's a 17-footer, and running it through a couple inches of water over some of these shoals and navigating around stumps to get this gear where we need to get our data. So it's definitely pretty exciting, a little harrowing at times, but it's a fun part of the job.
The agency started the string crew, I want to remember, in the 70s sometime. Dickie Wilson and Rob Todd and a few others. They started the first original inventory of the state of Tennessee. And in the mid-'80s, in 1986, we started one that went full-time. And that full-time, we're constantly picking anywhere from 5 to 15 streams a year and doing population surveys. And on the sports side of it, we're doing samples up and down the rivers that people were fishing for, the smallmouth and the trout and rock bass and things like that. So it keeps us busy. See how red his tail is? People have discovered the rivers again. We're not going to get any more lakes. The chances of building a lake are about slim to none. So everybody's discovering the way to float the river in the kayak. They have more or less came back home.
There's a reservoir crew, they handle the big lakes, but there's a lot of people that buy fishing licenses to go fishing in these smaller rivers, these creeks. So we got to go where the anglers are. We got to follow the kayakers and just figure out what ways can we best manage that fishery for everyone.
It's kind of hectic up there. The front end, you're constantly swiveling back and forth, checking each side of you. We're looking at, you got to make an instantaneous decision. Okay, is that the type of fish I'm going after? Is that not the type of fish I'm going after? You're making a snap judgment. A lot of times your snap judgment is wrong and you have to toss that fish back. But at the same time, you want to try to get every fish that you can, and your targeted species, you want to make sure you get every one of them.
That's impressive.
Just making a 30-minute run, going through with our electrofishing boat, and looking at how the population is structured.
Smallmouth.
Making sure we're getting the little fish, the medium fish, the big fish.
Spotted bass, rock bass.
The different species as well. That lets us know that the recruitment's going
All right,
on.
smallmouth.
Also lets us know that the fish are healthy when they're little.
472, which is 18.5 inches long.
And also when they're adults as well.
We're collecting the data and we are monitoring that. Now we could lower the creel limits or raise the creel limits, what the number that you could eat, or we can put a size limit on it. So the biologists get together every year with all of our data and they look at it and say, okay, is this creek maintaining itself, or does this creek need some help? So that's what they're looking at with our data. And we've got a new thing coming up, and they should post it on in the next couple of months, the top 5 smallmouth streams. We're putting GIS coordinates on the internet, so you'll be able to go to places and fish. When people look and see that boat go down the river, they say, oh, it's the game wardens. Well, TWRA has 3 different divisions. We have the fisheries, the wildlife, and the law enforcement. And we're not out there enforcing the law. We're out there looking at what you're catching. So we're not per se all out there writing tickets. We're out there trying to help you catch fish.